Yeah, aloha, mother fathers. Welcome in. Another episode of the Side Hustle Podcast.
Did you get that out?
Dude, I am... So, I pride myself on a lot of things, but consistency is something I've really worked on over the course of my life.
I pride myself on being a man of faith. And, sorry.
Well,
wrong there.
You can Tebow somewhere else. But, the point of that was that, I always want to be here. I always want to make sure I'm here for you. I'm here for Pete. I'm here for you guys. I know I was a little bit late tonight, but, I feel like shit, dude. Oh, man. It was a rough day. I didn't call off work today either. I went into work. Second week on the job. They were like, you could have called off. You have PTO. I'm like, I'm not calling. It's the second week I'm here. I'm not going to call off.
Yeah,
what the hell? I might tomorrow. We'll see how this goes.
No, that's like false. I don't want to say false support. They are behind you, but that's you don't know what the work environment's like yet.
They're really understanding. Like the fact that they gave me my vacation and my PTO up front, I don't have to accrue it. Like I get a week of sick time, PTO, and then 2 weeks vacation automatically.
Oh wow.
No, obviously I can't take vacation in the first 6 months, but they understand stuff like this can happen where
right.
And if I'm running a fever tonight or whatever it is and I wake up tomorrow and it's the same, well then obviously I'm not going to try and endanger them either. But
right.
Felt good enough to come here and obviously get you guys sick, so get ready for it. It's going to be fun.
There we go.
Next 3 to 4 days is going to be miserable for both of you guys, so we're looking forward to it.
That's not good. So
no, you'll be fine.
Okay. I have a dinner schedule with Rebecca's dad on Friday, so
Are you gonna re-ask for his permission after you're ready to ask for his permission? Sir, are you sure? Are you sure?
We want to make sure. I mean, we want to.
Do you feel me, sir? Do you feel me?
Want to make sure that's how go.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
Ready to go.
Where are you guys going?
I don't know.
Oh, is he taking you out?
Yes.
Oh, just you two?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
That's gonna be fun.
And
have you done that very often? Have you guys done that or?
Not really. No.
Oh, okay.
No, not really. So
if he brings out a white belt, be careful. He may try to beat it to you and hand it to your mom. So just be careful with that.
So Pete, just want to let you know, we both may not be back here next week.
I may still be sick, and Double A may just be on a heap at some restaurant in downtown Cleveland.
But if we do make it back, we have a crossover episode scheduled with the Voice of the Land podcast. So they will be we'll be joining them on their show next week, and they'll be joining us on our show next week.
We're doing a twofer.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
if you thought it was annoying listening to us for an hour and a half, wait till you get to listen to us for 3 hours.
So
it should be fun. It should be fun.
It'll be exciting. I'll say this: I believe their part of the podcast will be live.
Oh. Okay.
They record live. They stream live every week.
Yeah.
Our hour will, of course, be released on Thursday.
He's like, son of a bitch. How many camera cuts am I going to have to do when we're sitting over there with the couches? And he's not even thinking about that. Right? Wide shot.
How much can we stretch that 2-shot? How much can we go? Go a little bit.
The biggest
there.
production we've seen so far coming next Wednesday. It's going to be fun.
But no, can't wait for it. Of course, it'll be leading in, of course, those guys to have their thoughts on WrestleMania. And, of course, they've been doing Voice of the Land, been doing that podcast for a little while now.
How long has it been, Pete? Do you know?
Oh, the video podcast. So adding video to it started right before the pandemic.
Wow. So years.
Yeah, and then
4 years.
Because it was originally Kevin and Nick Paulus.
Uh-huh.
And before we started doing it here, I want to say it was February of 2020.
Wow.
January or February of 2020 is when we started doing it in here. And then I think Nick and Kevin had done it for maybe a year before that, or close to, because they did it when they were both students at OMS.
Half a decade? All right. Respect.
Yeah,
we've been here for 2 months.
Put it that way, yeah.
We'll get there. I mean, we're trying to use their rub, to kind of build this, so we'll get there.
We're getting the Grayson Waller rub from the Voice of the Land podcast.
Hey, soon enough we'll be breaking down WrestleMania 45. We'll get there.
Overtime. Main event: Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes. 45. No, Rob Rucker versus MJF.
Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes.
Oh,
Cody
my
trying
God.
to finish the story.
For the 7th time in a row, Cody Rhodes trying to finish the story.
I wonder. I was watching the Buffalo Bills 30 for 30, and they were talking about like
You just wanted to see something with pain in it.
kind of, but it was actually really good. But by like the third season, they were like, oh.
Do we even want to go back to the Super Bowl anymore? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And then year 4, it's like, oh, come on.
Just lose.
Lose.
I never wanted a sub 500 team more in Buffalo in the 4th season of. Just go 7-9. Jesus.
I'm sure those fans were like, Steelers, where were you? Like, how come you couldn't finish? Forget their story. Finish your story.
Oh, my God.
San Diego Chargers, what are you doing?
I can't confirm it or deny this, but Jim Kelly may have got cancer from that 4-year stretch.
Unbelievable.
Like, that was so rough for Jim
Unbelievable.
Kelly. People are shaking their head. I know why, but still, like, that was, you never know. That's a lot of stress.
Their
4 years, dude.
solution was like, well, Scott Norwood, we're gonna stand behind you. We're gonna stand behind you. You're gonna be good to go. And he has a somewhat productive season, and then the year after, actually, we're not exactly over you missing the field goal that cost us the Super Bowl. We're gonna cut you anyway. Good luck in your future.
The Bills signed Adam Vinatieri. What?
What?
55-year-old Adam Vinatieri coming back. No, but yeah, that's unfortunate.
Unbelievable. So hopefully Cody can finish the story.
We have to talk about Cody. I want to start with that because you did not like his promo on Monday.
I did not.
So do you want to hear my side first, or do I want to just take the floor and let you kind of say your piece?
Let me go here for a second.
It was your idea, so I'll let you
No,
go.
it's not going to be scorched earth or anything like that, but you're 2 or 3 weeks out of WrestleMania.
Okay.
This is the time right now where you need to start having your fans believe that you can actually do this. You need to start having your fans actually believe, and you as a character need to start believing I can actually beat Roman Reigns. I can actually go in there and do the job. First of all, this whole like self-doubt thing, and what I mean by self-doubt is I don't know if I'm going to finish the story. I'm slipping that in. Like, I don't know if I'm going to finish the story. Like, you should, when we're watching main event guys about to take on a championship match, about to do certain things and be at the top, you're overly confident that you're going to beat the system. And even if there is doubt in your own mind, you're going to fake your way into believing that you could do it.
But he's not fake. That's the thing about Cody, right? He's 100%. That's just who he is. That's why people like him so much, is because he's so relatable, because he's literally just being himself.
I understand.
And the circumstance is a little bit different than like Gunther and Sammy, right? Because Sammy can say, you don't think you beat me, and he can do the whole thing, and he can get trained by Chad Gable now or whatever it is. But like, Cody's already been screwed over before. So he kind of knows, well, I'm being honest. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen, but he goes off on a rant about everything else about The Rock, though, too. I mean, I get what you're saying.
I respect his honesty. I don't like it. I respect it, but I don't like it.
He never said, I'm not going to finish the story. He said, I don't know. Because he doesn't know.
As
Roman Reigns doesn't know he's going to win.
There lays the difference.
He's also a heel, though. Heels are supposed to be cocky, arrogant. I know I need to do this. He's the full, natural 1980s baby face is Cody Rhodes right now. Where I'm going to give it the college try, and here's the vitamins and all the bullshit. Like, he has that behind him with the added bonus of now this past week, possibly, in my mind, cutting one of the best promos he's ever cut in his life. I get you picked that one little line out of there, but the rest of that promo was fucking fantastic.
There was a couple other things, and usually it's not this side of the table that's throwing sour grapes on certain things. First of all, I'm happy you had the floor and everything. I just had a few issues with the material.
Dude.
Here's the thing. If you're going to curse in a promo, it has to have meaning. It has to have...
You whether it be Rock where he says something every other sentence, right? It has no meaning whatsoever.
But it seemed out of character for Cody just to say what he said.
Well, he got driven a little bit because The Rock was talking about his mom.
I understand.
So that drives people to say some shit, doesn't it? If I came to you and started talking shit about your mom, wouldn't you be acting a little bit different than your normal character?
I understand that. It's just it didn't feel to me like it was within the frame of you need to be different, but it didn't feel like. I don't know. There's a part of me that's just felt off.
I fucking loved it
from my end.
Just because I was waiting for the fire. We've seen the emotional side of Cody getting serious and talking with Michael Cole about this thing. The Rock obviously took a low blow, winning his mom. He sprinkled in the babyface parts of it too, with the respect to Rock's mom. She helped me, chop Kevin Owens at a house show. He said that at one point. He's like, nothing but love for her. I expect the same respect for my mom that I give to yours. And I thought the lines are perfect because it wasn't line after line after line. It was building and building and building to a moment, and then he dropped the bomb. And then holy shit, he said that. Building, dropped another bomb. Oh, fuck, he said little dick syndrome. Like, that's crazy. Building. Oh, you're Roman's side chick. Oh, shit. Like, he didn't, do bomb. It was talk for a little bit, get people invested, listen to what I'm saying, bring me in a little bit more. Fuck your mom. Like, he went on the full, he had people on, okay, Cody Rhodes promo. Holy shit, he said that. Okay, back to more of a Cody Rhodes promo. Okay, not bad. Holy shit, he sprinkled them in, I think, in good spots, and it wasn't too much. It was just enough.
I'll give you that. And we'll see on Friday when he faces off with Roman.
If he does, they're gonna do something stupid. I think they should give them both just a 1-on-1 4 to talk to each other. That'd be great, and no one expects that to happen. So that'd be great if they actually did it. But I don't know.
Well, if they drive the point home that they're gonna do it and then they don't do it, that's an ultimate beta switch.
Roman's also just kind of not. We talked about him kind of falling in the back burner of all this. Right now, in the whole Bloodline saga, Roman's 6th or 7th on my mind. Because Jimmy and Jay are doing a better job of getting their match over. They had a great segment. It was short, but it was worth it. Just because Jimmy made sense. What?
Yeah, that made sense. And we'll get to that. Yeah, that part made sense.
I'm just saying, in the sense of Cody in this situation.
And that's why Friday's show is very important for Roman. I think Friday's show is really, really important
for
Roman.
He's got to establish the fact that he's the leader again, because The Rock feels like he's leading the show. They come out separately. He has his own entrance. Did they have a backstage angle with them all together yet? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Other than the kickoff.
Yeah. Other than that, there was nothing.
Nothing.
It's all been The Rock's on his own fucking thing. He acknowledged Roman Reigns, but he doesn't actually work with the Bloodline.
Right.
So
let me add one last thing to the Cody thing, and it's just to reinforce what I mentioned at the top with Cody. I have in the back of my mind that finish from last year, and I get it. This year to add a stipulation of the Bloodline rules,
possibly if they lose, which they probably will lose night one.
We know this. We know the stipulation. We know it's probably going to happen. But I want to hear over these next few weeks, heading into Mania, I want to hear from Cody, and it can happen Friday. I want to hear. I guess for me, I need to be confident that he can overcome that. That he could overcome, hey, if it is Bloodline rules, I still got this. I understand there could be a little bit of doubt. I may not come out on top, but there needs to be, I need to feel it. I need to feel that Cody, if he has to against all odds, can actually go through and actually win this championship.
What's the biggest difference for Cody as a character and his support system now compared to WrestleMania 39? He has one. I don't think Seth is turning on him. I think I've come to terms with the fact that they're just going to have Seth get beat by Drew at WrestleMania, but Seth will still be there for Cody because he still sees the bigger picture. That could lead to Seth obviously attacking Cody later, but nevertheless, I think we're going to get that match down the road.
Yeah, no need for that right now.
He's got Jay. He's got Jay in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
He always has the phone call to Randy. He can always make if he needs that extra help. He's got Sammy. He also has KO at the show, too, because KO is going to be in the United States title match.
Correct, yes.
So they're all going to be there, right?
Correct.
So that's the biggest difference now. When it's Bloodline rules, yeah, sure, there's going to be 4 members of the Bloodline out there, but there's also going to be 4 people backing up Cody, too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference. I think maybe we see that a little bit of a peek at that on Friday we're kind of talking a little bit ahead of time here with that. But I mean, like it's Roman, it's Cody. Did you really think I wouldn't bring my family? And then they fucking show up, and then Cody's like, I kind of figured you would.
Yeah.
So I made a few calls, and then that's
Yeah.
when you're going to see the even numbers game. The one man, odd man out may be The Rock, and that's where you possibly see a call to Stone Cold come in.
You could. And again, we'll see.
He's got to do something at WrestleMania 40. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's been training. He looks fantastic. I'm not going to bore you guys with another list because I think he needs to be involved with this. If The Rock is going to be involved in the main event of both nights, Stone Cold Steve Austin needs to be involved somehow. I think that needs to happen. I'm not saying a match needs to happen with those two because it doesn't. What needs to happen is Stone Cold needs to get involved.
If he's participating in WrestleMania.
Which he has to be. It's also in Philly. He's the ECW guy, too. That's where he kind of cut his teeth and started cutting his promos. It makes a lot of sense.
Can I ask you this? This was not in our rundown, but
Yeah.
Philadelphia, WrestleMania. And this is completely out of left field, so if you don't have an answer, it's okay.
Oh, I'm pretty good at bullshitting, so.
Paul Heyman's getting inducted.
Yeah.
Who should induct him?
CM Punk.
Besides whoever Paul Heyman wants. Who should induct Paul Heyman?
CM Punk.
Punk.
Yeah.
Why?
They've actually been friends for 25 years. Roman would be a thing, but that's not his role. His role is to lead, not to induct someone else into the Hall of Fame.
My wise man.
Brock, people were saying Brock before. I don't think Brock makes sense either because Brock's not a big talker.
Mm-hmm.
Punk will be the biggest name to do it. And I can't see anybody else. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, if it's not CM Punk, it should be Jim Cornette. But that's because that'd just be fun to watch those two go back and forth.
So before tonight, I actually put on Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
I put on a Montreal Screwjob episode. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the episode was about Bret Hart getting screwed or how much Jim Cornette hates Vince Russo. I don't know.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I don't know which one was which. Oh my goodness.
But it's gonna be Punk. He's gonna be there for the weekend anyway. It makes a lot of sense. I think he's doing his signing either Sunday or whatever. But he's gonna be he already said he's gonna be at WrestleMania too.
And WWE wants CM Punk to have a big role in some way, shape, or form with WrestleMania.
And the fact that apparently Paul is going to be the headliner, you want to have someone, which I was a little not sure about at first. I know it's Philly, but at the same point, it felt like maybe a wrestler should have been the headliner for the class.
Paul works.
Yeah,
Paul works just because he's a talker.
They're missing one more person though. I'm not saying it has to be like. It should be Bray. The documentary coming out on the first two I'm going to watch it. So I would imagine that he would go in this year or next year, like soon. Just because he did kind of have, if you think about his career, even before obviously his passing, he had a Hall of Fame type career. I mean, 3-4-time champion, whatever.
I wonder if they're saving Bray for him to be the headliner, whatever year, next year, if he's a headliner. So
I thought for sure The Rock was going to go in this year. I don't know. Like I just because he's there.
They're waiting
for what? If Rey Mysterio can go in,
there's technically no rules.
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, one, build an actual Hall of Fame.
I was going to say, there's really no qualifications to.
You can't take part of the Stanford headquarters and build it into a Hall of Fame. That'd be kind of nice. But I mean, it feels like we're just missing another. Paul can be the headliner. Mm-hmm. And maybe they don't think Bray is worth a headline, but like he'd still be like, the old Warrior Award type thing. Like he'd be in that role of like going in. I feel like they're missing one more person.
If we're in the business of rating classes, and to be fair, we do it with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, baseball. Don't get me started on the baseball Hall of Fame, but we do it for all the Hall of Fames, whatever. And this class, this is the defensive class, and then this class, 5 years from now, that's going to be a stacked class.
This class is just weird. I mean, Paul makes sense, obviously. Bull Nakano makes sense, obviously, because she had a great career, too, in the women's side. Talking about people like last week we were talking about for women's Mount Rushmore. Some people have her up there for what she did all across the world. U.S. Express is good. A couple other names they threw in, but it just feels like it's missing somebody. I'm not saying Paul can be the headliner.
It's that it factor that's not.
Bray would be perfect. I mean, he doesn't have to be the headliner. He can be like the co-head. Mm-hmm. Like, you could be the first person they induct, and Paul can end the night. But I mean, like, we're missing that. And I've heard like The Rock's mom is someone, or grandmother, one of the two, I forget, is a possibility. Which if The Rock's going to induct her, then they'll probably do it because it gets him a chance to be in the show. But at the same point, it's like,
well, if The Rock's mom is going to go in, then Cody's mom has to.
1 + 1 = 2, folks. I
That
mean,
was actually a good way to end the show. I projected that a little bit too early.
That's fine. It's strange. I'm in.
He had a mouse on the clicker.
He's about to dump you. Jeez. We're gonna go to the phones now. No, it's a strange class. It really is for
I'll
me.
give you that.
Because Paul, worth doing, obviously, especially in Philly, makes a lot of sense. I didn't think he was gonna be the guy for this class.
And maybe because Rey Mysterio, he's already in the Hall of Fame, correct?
He went in last year.
Yeah, he went
he
in
was the
last year.
headliner,
He was the headliner.
even though he was wrestling at WrestleMania and he's still active.
It seems like
When's Randy gonna go in?
It seems like to me, in the Triple H era of WWE, I will give Vince this. I do believe there was a greater emphasis on the Hall of Fame when during Vince's time.
What was his own thing?
And again, Triple H has been in for only a couple. We give Triple H enough excuses on the show. So
the problem is they moved it to 2 nights. WrestleMania being 2 nights now because Hall of Fame was always Saturday,
correct,
and then WrestleMania was Sunday. It was a full. That's why it was a full weekend. But now they have 2 nights of wrestling, so it's kind of like
and the ceremony being in the Eastern Time Zone starts at 10:00.
Yeah. Well, if you're watching SmackDown, though, usually people tune into it. So I mean, it's.
I'm only saying it for like the paid attendance, like for those who are there. Like,
so maybe you want to limit the class to like 5 people, keep it like within like an hour and a half.
Because it's the same show. It's SmackDown and it's the Hall of Fame. It's the exact same ticket.
They should do a special start time of like 6 or 7 o'clock for SmackDown on Friday, so that way they could have the Hall of Fame and actually make it mean something.
They could once they move to USA Network. Fox is like, nah, 8 o'clock. Your time slot is from 8 p.m. to 9:58. Yeah. I don't care if The Rock's in the middle of a promo. I don't care if he's mid-slap. We going to Fox 8 News. We're going to cut off right there.
Isn't it true? You're the youngest. You can tell he's scared. It looked like they jump cut.
Yeah, it did.
When he said that.
Yeah, it was. That was perfect. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That was basically
insider term for us. Yeah.
That was basically, if you watch that back, and I think now that's probably a couple weeks ago now. If you watch that back, you could tell. I think they skipped like a paragraph of what was supposed to happen. We know apparently, according to the streets, there was supposed to be after that slap a big brawl, but obviously, ran out of time.
Well, it's kind of better that didn't happen.
I agree.
I don't want these guys to touch until WrestleMania.
I agree.
Honestly, I don't want to expose The Rock before WrestleMania.
I don't want Rock huffing and puffing before Mania.
He's going to have 3 good minutes in that match, and it's going to be the first 3. And then after that, it's going to go. Cardio is not his thing.
I wonder. So that tag team match at Mania, the night 1 main event.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a standard
tornado tag? Probably, I would imagine.
I would hope so.
Well, they probably want to get Rock some rest, so probably it would be just a normal tag match.
Well, okay.
But Solo and Jimmy will be at ringside, and they'll do a full thing.
Let's think about this for a second. A typical Roman Reigns match these days is like an old WCW main event. There's a lot of walking around.
The entrance is about 20 minutes. Yeah.
The entrance is long.
Stare at the camera even longer.
The stare is long. The first touch takes a while.
For the love of Christ, please give Roman a car to drive down in so he doesn't have to walk. Undertaker can do circles around him with how fucking slow Roman walks. Good God.
I mean, the first punch is going to take a while.
Did you know a kid in high school that would he was so fast and quick, but when you see him in the hallways, he walks so fucking slow.
Yeah.
I knew a guy. Tommy DiDonato was his name from Parma High. Tommy, hope you're doing great, buddy. But he legit would always look like he was walking in fucking slow motion. And it wasn't like a cool thing. It was like dude, you're just fucking like a snail right now.
Yeah.
That's what fucking Roman does. And he gets in the ring and obviously he's fast. But he just has that slow. Someone take the finger off the slow-mo button in the truck and let him walk normal down to the fucking ring, please.
He maximizes quickness.
He maximizes his fucking screen time.
Yeah, he does.
On there for 15 minutes more than anybody else because his entrance takes half that fucking time to do it. My God.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm like, I trust that this tag match is going to be an epic showcase. I trust that it's
Seth's gonna be bumping a lot,
but Seto's going to be taking a lot of bumps
and the pin probably. Yeah,
and probably eat the pin.
I'm starting to fully put all the odds against Cody. Does Cody take the pin on Saturday?
I would not have a problem if he ultimately wins on Sunday.
He's at his lowest of his lows, and the bloodline's at its highest of the
To
highs.
go back to your theory, the 2-night theory, if he walks away with the championship, confetti comes down and everything with Cody, are we really going to be screaming mad when we come on this podcast the following Wednesday saying, boy, I wish Cody didn't take the pin on Saturday?
No one's gonna give a fuck.
Nobody's going to care.
Nobody's gonna care at all.
Matter of fact, fine. Matter of fact, I could even argue and say that Cody's the right guy to take the pin.
That way it protects Seth for his title match too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that way you don't see the doubt of Seth possibly turning because he lost. He got pinned. So
you could do that. You could do that, and in theory, you would imagine that both of the baby faces obviously are fighting hard and everything, and Seth is giving everything he's can. They both are giving everything they can, and then you can find a way to isolate Seth out of the finish.
Right.
You could do.
I'll take him out of the block and get involved, whatever it is.
Solo and Jimmy could be in the corner.
Drew could come out.
And be, lock him in the corner.
He wants to work with The Rock. Maybe he strikes a deal with The Rock before WrestleMania.
Why not?
Like, I'll help you. You help me.
Why not?
Some bullshit,
Do something like that. Maybe do a little post angle with Jey Uso or something. But whatever. I actually advocate for Cody to take the pin. Eat it. Because, again, on Sunday night, we will not care if Cody is walking out of there with the Undisputed Championship.
I have a weird feeling, and it just kind of hit me. And when something like this hits me, I feel like most of the time with WWE, I'm pretty good at predicting what's going to happen after they announce the matches. Obviously, our cards look like shit. but like, the actual, like, okay, we know the match is happening. What's the finish going to be? I could see a double count out or some bullshit. Like, honestly. Because they're in a really weird spot where to us it makes sense, right? Cody take the pin or Seth take the pin, right? Rock gets his win. He gets to, do whatever in night 2. It just feels weird. This whole thing is fucking weird. The whole weekend's going to be strange, honestly.
I'll put it to you this way. If they do not go with a decisive finish on night 1, that would be a travesty. That would be because if you build this up, you only get Rock in so many events. If you're building this up, how does a no contest or not a DQ, but a no contest? How does a no contest advance the story? If you're going to make this a 2-night journey, if you're going to make it all this build up leads into, all right, the main event of night 1 has importance. The whole point of the night 1 main event is to set the stage
for night 2. Well, we thought last year it was going to make a lot of sense at the end, and we were scratching our heads. So I mean,
at least I can't defend last year's finish because I hated it, but it was at least you had a winner.
You had a decision. Yeah.
You had a decision. You cannot end night 1 without a decision.
You talked me back into it. I think there's going to be something that happens that makes a finish per se, but I don't know. It's just it's like a little voice in the back of my head saying, "Oh, what about this?" It's like,
if it was the old days, but even then,
DQ them both.
But I'll give Vince this, and I know we're over the limit on the number of Vince McMahon compliments here.
None.
I know
it's a great start. Just don't do it.
Right. Check out Ronda Rousey's comments, by the way.
I didn't see those.
Did you see him?
No.
Oh.
She talks some shit.
I'll put up what she said here in a second here. But at least Vince McMahon delivered on WrestleMania finishes.
Yeah. Well,
at least he had a formula. 50 weeks of television can suck, but at least WrestleMania, you had your finishes. You at least had something in place. Let me pull up what Rousey said here real quick.
Was this like on a video or was it on her Twitter or what was she?
I caught it on Twitter.
Okay.
But I think it was from her book. And this was, so her book, Our Fight. There's a longer quote that I want to find here. I'll give you the gist of it here. So it says, so she brought up her background. Basically, she highly complimented Triple H.
Right. Most people do.
Her first opponent, but also like biggest advocate
Yeah.
in this, and then complimented Stephanie. She said this then. Pay-per-views, her autobiography comes out April 4th. This is Ronda Rousey.
Don't tell Becky Lynch that. She's got a book coming out, too, in a week.
I don't know if Ronda Rousey's going to have a naked page of herself covered up with a championship belt. But here's what she said.
Great picture.
Pay-per-views are held in major cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia, as well as now twice a year in Saudi Arabia, a nation that restricts the rights of women in a way that I'm certain Vince McMahon wishes he could.
Damn.
That's in Ronda Rousey's autobiography coming out.
Well, we knew from the beginning it was Triple H's
called
influence.
Our Fight, out April 4th.
Our Fight, April 4th. Ronda Rousey. Good for her.
Especially,
I hope more people start doing that shit.
Yeah.
Because the guy's a human trash bag. So.
Especially coming from this week where a highly profiled Nickelodeon documentary was.
Did you see Dan Schneider's comments about it afterwards? He talked with Tebow.
Yeah.
Of all the people to do the fucking interview,
yeah,
Tebow was the one that did it.
Yeah.
In Hawaii, I believe. Sorry,
yeah.
Hawaii. I need to say it correct now since I've been there.
Pete, did you see this?
I did not.
It's fucking hilarious. Well, that's not hilarious as far as what happened, but it's hilarious to see his response because the guy that interviewed Dan Schneider, the guy that ran all the Nickelodeon shows for like 20 years, like he basically yes-anded him the entire time. And like also like basically set him up to. So this wasn't really how it was, right? Like he was basically just like, setting him up to be like, oh yeah.
So this producer was a creep. This producer was basically.
If you see Dan Schneider, you kind of can tell too. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. So this producer, and he did not all. I shouldn't say all. He did the vast majority.
He wrote from Nickelodeon from '93 until 2018.
Any of the notable Nickelodeon shows that you could think of.
All that's like the Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Zoe 101. It's more of our generation. Kind of in the back end. Maybe, I don't know if you.
But he was on staff with. Yeah, you mentioned all that. Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, Kenan and Kel, stuff like that. Kind of, we're talking to Pete, and he's like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" But like, it's like kids Nickelodeon shows. And
I've seen Good Burger.
Yeah,
I think he was a part of that.
Yeah, I think he was actually credited on that as well.
Yeah.
But like he was just yeah. If you get a chance, it's actually pretty. It's entertaining. Unfortunately, it's entertaining, but it's the documentary itself.
It's just odd because like you see some of the start. First of all, the whole like child acting thing.
Yeah.
There are complete signs of don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, by the way, there's a staff member that was actually convicted of essentially being a pedophile, and he was hired on a Disney Channel show.
Yep.
Afterwards,
after serving time in jail for doing something inappropriate on Nickelodeon.
And I was just sitting there, I'm like, dang, I watched that show too.
Yep.
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I watched that. Like, man.
Not so sweet life after that.
But that was like pretty much all these shows.
Yikes.
And that was the story that was told.
Like most situations, there's probably a gray area in the middle because one side tells one story, one side tells another, and then there's usually something in between that usually is the truth. But
but he admitted in the first minute of his interview,
he would do a lot of things different
with
Tebow.
With Tebow,
not Tim Tebow, but like Tebow, one of the actors on like iCarly,
the chicken guy that ran the milkshake place on iCarly. Check.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
A
minute.
Looks like a skinny Trick Williams.
Right. A minute. Yeah. Maybe I should have a member of wardrobe. Probably. I know they're working on 3 shows, but maybe I didn't need that back massage. childhood.
There goes our youth.
There it is. There it is.
Bye bye, little Sebastian. All right.
How about that Nickelodeon logo there?
We should probably get back to
Let's pivot.
Pivot. Pivot. Pivot. Pivot.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I sent you a New York Post article.
Yeah, this is bullshit, by the way. So if you...
All right, next story.
I had to just fucking dig it deep already. But, I mean, if you're going to the New York Post for your news at this point, dude, just turn that shit off. Unsubscribe. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
The story I sent you was there was a writer, and I read the article. The writer, he does, I will give the writer this, he watches wrestling. I'll give him that. The guy.
Congratulations. You know how to work your remote. Good job.
So he says here from the New York Post, WWE needs to look in the mirror after AEW star-studded free agency haul.
How's our TV ratings doing, Mr. Ryder? Who's popping bigger ratings week after week, and who's still sitting in the same fucking spot despite debuting all these people? Nobody knows who they are. Just because you watched wrestling in Japan and you want to make a comment to a fucking, organization that sucks a bunch of dicks at this point. Good job. There are certain providers where it's like, I don't even care anymore. I'm so glad I'm not in this. There's days where it's like, you know what? I'm glad I don't fucking do that shit anymore. Because, my
Soon
God.
they'll be behind a paywall, too. Don't worry.
Fuck. Hopefully at one point we'll be behind a paywall, but that's beside the point.
Hey, you want to get an article for the New York Times? Nope.
Times, a little bit better. Post, yeah, go fuck yourself.
I don't know if the New York Times is better. They're behind a paywall.
Yeah. It's my level of hierarchy, it's like this.
Do you know the rating that Dynamite had last week?
I'm sure it's a little better.
Featuring Sasha Banks?
I'm sure it's a little better than normal. Maybe, was it like 859, maybe close to 1 million?
800.
Are you fucking kidding me?
800,000.
That's less. They average like 820.
Yeah.
You only marketed it for 2 fucking months, right? See, this is why you just need to tell them she's going to be there. Because people will tune the fuck in. Like, what happened with WCW when they spoiled Mankind winning the championship? People turned to fucking watch it.
Yeah, they did.
Tell people she's going to be there. You suck at surprises. I'm sorry, AEW is terrible at it. So just do it. Just tell them. You're better off. You'll actually get a bigger number at least for a week. Because obviously you're not going to tell good stories. So, by the way, her comments about AEW, about both companies offering 10 plus million or whatever it was, and she felt there was more room to grow at AEW, which is the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard. Someone's selling her a bag of magic beans because that's a bunch of bullshit. Like,
well, I'll say this.
You've wrestled half the people that worked there too. Where are you going with this?
Well, I'll say
Where?
this. I think she wants. That told me she wanted to be in an island by herself. That told me, hey, if I can grow this division, I get all the credit.
By the end of the decade, she's back in WWE. I'm calling her right now.
Decade? How long is this contract?
Probably 3 to 4 years. I think 3 years is
She
usually
actually called her shot on a podcast before
She said she was going to come back to WWE at some point. She wasn't sure when, but she will go back.
Yeah, she called her shot, which I'm sure people were happy about. So to your point that you were mentioning.
Stupid.
This was not. I think Tony Khan tried to deliver the same thing that happened with CM Punk. The difference was CM Punk was out for a decade, out of professional wrestling for a decade. And if you were a CM Punk fan, if you were a fan of professional wrestling, you knew CM Punk was going to debut.
You know what they should have done? So she appeared on their TV at All In, right, in London.
Mm-hmm.
She was there for the show. Sign her then. Do what they're doing with Punk. Vignettes of her getting healthy, working out, getting better, getting closer. Keep her in your mind. So that way you can, when she finally does come out and she's there and you're like, holy shit. Announce Mercedes Moné coming to AEW to talk about her future this coming Wednesday or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or this day, Wednesday in Boston. Like, I'm sure the house, they probably did fine for Boston. I'm sure they sold plenty of tickets that night. So he'll talk up the house, but he won't talk about the ratings.
No, you can't.
Because they're shit.
You can't.
They're not shit. They're number 2.
No, by her standards, it was bad.
It was garbage. Because she's not. This is the thing that. So Vince, I can't believe I'm about to give him a compliment here.
Oh boy.
Which
This
it's saying a
episode
lot.
ought to be canceled.
Honestly, it should. Well, I said a lot of shit earlier too about Jim Kelly. That probably should have got but that's beside the point.
Man.
But I love Jim Kelly too. I feel bad, but no. So the reason why he didn't re-sign her in the first place, the reason why Triple H kind of let her walk too, is you're not as big a star as you think you are. Charlotte, bigger name. Right now, Becky Lynch, bigger name. Rhea Ripley, bigger name. Bayley at this point, bigger name.
Yeah.
Her best friend.
Yeah.
It's you're not to them. We're not. It's hard to tell someone you're not worth something because she works her ass off, and I give her a lot of credit. She's talented as hell. But at this point, they look at their roster at WWE, and they're kind of like, yeah, we'll offer it to you because we love you and want you to come back, and we want to induct you into our Hall of Fame. We want you to be, part of this women's roster, but we feel pretty good if you don't come anyway.
And the writer on New York Post had a throwaway line, but it's like the key difference between what WWE's doing and AEW. He had a line in there that said, well, WWE didn't win out on any of these free agents, including Will Ospreay. Didn't win out on these free agents, but they do have an NXT program and performance center so Tiffany Stratton can come right out of the rookie system, basically, and immediately be over.
They have a pipeline.
And she's probably getting paid pennies on a dime.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Roxanne Perez, a lot of those girls down there, they've got Roxanne's like 22. So they've got the next group. And for the guys, too, the Breakers, the Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, all these guys, Ilya Dragon, they've got all these people down there. They don't need to sign these guys that nobody's heard of before except for if you're a hardcore wrestling fan.
So think about this, and I had to respond. Someone had on the TikTok. Someone mentioned something. I forgot if it was this story or something.
It was about
else.
Will. It was about
Yeah.
Wrestling fans just like wrestling. Who cares about the common fan? Well, that's spoken like a true hardcore wrestling fan. You don't give a shit about them, but they don't give a shit about you.
There's a delicate balance.
Huh.
Obviously, you don't want to irritate the regulars. That's understandable. You don't want to lose your core audience. That's any business. Any business, you want to stay.
They'll keep that 800,000.
You want to stay true to yourself.
Yeah, until they start fucking up more booking, and they'll slowly go down.
The casuals, turning the casuals into P1s, and we say P1s. That's a radio term for people who listen, people who watch every week.
Yep.
You have to get those in, and that's what you're talking about. It's not a bad idea to promote Sasha Mercedes. It's not a bad idea to promote her for the next month.
You have someone coming to your program who was at multiple points during her career the number one female star on the most popular wrestling show in the world. Right?
Correct.
For a decade she was there.
Correct.
Plus. And you decide not to say anything and just kind of you subtly hint at it instead of just telling people, no, she'll be there.
And then her first promo, she laid out her resume, and her resume obviously is mostly WWE.
It's all WWE based.
I main evented the first women's, Hell in a Cell cage match. Let's see where that happened.
Which AEW, I'm sure, can't use Hell in a Cell because I'm sure it's trademarked by WWE.
She was this close to saying, I main evented WrestleMania. They can't really say you main evented WrestleMania. You could have if you went back to WWE. Could have. You could have had.
She could have said it, and she would. Well, Triple H wouldn't have. He wouldn't have called her, or they wouldn't have fined AEW or anything like that. But still, it's like you're not gonna.
But my point is, you don't promote her for 2 months, or even longer. You don't promote her. You just said it's a big show, but if we're not in the know about anything AEW related, then
if you're a casual person, you say, "Oh, there's a wrestling show on Wednesdays." Okay. Oh, this one's apparently a big show. Why?
Yeah.
Because some random girl's coming out?
And then...
they don't know who she is.
And then...
The common people.
And then the show itself from last week. You deliver her... And I said this...
As a babyface.
Not just as a babyface. But I said this. We tape this show at 9 o'clock every Wednesday. We tape this show.
Yeah.
We were supposed... I think I said when we planned the show last week, We'll get Sasha in probably at the tail end of our podcast because I'm imagining they're gonna save her for the end of the show, her debut. She's gonna come out,
First out.
and then we're gonna, we'll have Raw reaction, or no pun intended. We'll have direct reaction to her debuting at the end of the show.
Right.
Nah, let's deliver her at the very beginning of the show. You don't really get a pop because the rating comes in with the amount of people who stick around through commercial.
Yeah.
So no reason for me to stick around through commercial because, well, she debuted in the first segment. And if I didn't know that this was going to be Sasha, big WWE star debuted in the first segment. Okay, cool. Click.
It's the whole point of all this. Like, you can just watch AEW's pay-per-views and feel like you didn't really miss much. There's no storytelling. The closest thing they have to it is probably Edge and Christian right now.
Yeah.
And that's just because we know who they are.
That's been built for 20-some years.
That was built for 40 years,
Uh-huh.
right? But it's because they were also on WWE TV each for 25 years apiece, too.
Correct, yeah.
So you kind of, and Kristen obviously had runs in TNA and all that. So he's been around everywhere. People know who he is. The Will Ospreay stuff, I mentioned it last week. The average person, even some of the average wrestling fans, are just kind of like, why should I fucking care about this guy? What's so important about him?
And it's sad, too, because
He can do flips. So Ricochet can do flips.
if he's in because I watched this match, if he's in an environment where there's storytelling behind him, same with Sasha. Same with the new 4 pillars I mentioned on the show last week.
Anybody.
If there's storytelling behind them, if they're in an environment where you're in a position to be driven as a character, the wrestling is a bonus.
Yeah.
The 8.5 stars that Dave Meltzer is going to give you is a bonus. That's just
it's another B. It's not a bonus. It's bullshit.
Correct.
Because the star system, and even Jim Cornette, who invented the star system, along with I think a buddy of his or whatever it was, even said it's our opinions. It was never supposed to be this whole thing. It was supposed to be just like a way we tickled our own taints and rated matches we saw that we liked.
I mean, it's basic storytelling.
He liked that, by the way. Tickling the taint.
It's basic storytelling. It's the same reason why Rebecca is heavily interested in the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not they play football. They play great football.
No, Taylor Swift is dating a tight end that plays for the Chiefs, so she's into it.
Yeah,
and that's how it goes.
And there's progression within the story. There's progression within her songs. That I hear nonstop.
Yeah.
There's progression.
Sooner or later, you're going to be a Swiftie, dude. I'm telling you. You're coming out.
She has a new album next month.
Now, is it an actual new album, or is it just her version?
No. Yes and yes. and
I have to clarify which is which, because she basically went on a streak there where she just re-released her old songs with a couple different changed words.
Well, that's so she could regain control over it.
Yeah.
that's what it was about.
Yeah, it was all about getting the rights to it.
So
she's power hungry. That's what it is.
She's
Taylor Swift is a capitalist? She's a
huge capitalist.
All my Republican
She
friends
is.
are just going, really?
She is.
All the
She
Democrats
is.
are going, stop, shut up.
She didn't own.
That's our
the
political
rights.
segment of the week. Taylor
Facts.
Swift, closet Republican. There you go.
She didn't own rights to her studio. Didn't own rights to a good portion of her catalog.
Gonna CC Taylor Swift in this email.
So,
Closet capitalist.
yeah,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Now I'm a little worried about this next album because it's about her breakups from she had a major breakup 2 years ago.
With that one dude from that one band or that one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I think his name was Joe. I don't fucking know. I see stuff sparingly headlines on Twitter and all that stuff. Not Twitter, but on TikTok. And
Oh no, I'm not gonna get the name right. But her first.
you better not dig yourself a hole because you have to go home.
I'm already in enough trouble. The dude's
No.
first name is Jacob. I forgot his last name.
Oh, is it Jacob? I thought it was a Joe something or something. I don't know.
I think it's Jacob.
I don't fucking know.
But
We have phones. We could Google this, but we're choosing not to because why?
April 19th, this album drops.
Good. It's after WrestleMania.
This album drops, and Rebecca's already taken time off of work.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no.
To listen to an album?
Yeah.
How many songs is there? Like 15? Just listen to it while you're at work.
No. This is different.
Oh,
This is
Jesus
different.
Christ.
This is different.
This is like people asking for the fucking eclipse off. Doesn't make any sense.
Kyle,
Stupid.
Kyle, you don't understand.
Want to start for 5 minutes when it's all black? Yeah, let's do it.
You have an issue with the eclipse?
I have an issue with people calling off for the eclipse.
Well, technically, I did call off, but I didn't call off for the eclipse. We have home opener tickets.
It's also the day after WrestleMania, so that's why I was going to call off if I was going to.
It's my anniversary, so I should probably call off.
See, now those are valid. Well, you're not so much. Valid reason.
What?
The kid,
Like the home opener for what?
The home opener for the Guardians.
For a 70-win team, yeah,
They're
go ahead.
going to win more than 70 games.
Sorry, 72.
the kids are off school.
They'll be over 500.
That's stupid.
Well,
Mine isn't.
Actually, it makes. Well, wait. They probably will be.
No.
The reason the kids are
I
off
go to
school.
Catholic school. That's where my kid goes. He doesn't call that shit.
Well, the reason they're off is because it's going to happen right when the kids are being dismissed.
Do you want your kid to be blind?
Here's a thought. Just don't look at the sun ever. That's a good idea because it's the fucking sun.
Have you seen kids?
God, we're so stupid. Like
You want to tell that to you want to tell that
dumbest point in our civilization at this point.
Kyle,
People going
you-
outside during eclipse to look at the fucking sun.
Kyle, you want to
If
tell
you do that, if you look, I'm talking to you, me and you right now. Here, sorry, double A. 1 second, me and you right here.
put
Okay,
the one shot there.
Put
you
the
go.
right here, me and you. Yeah, hi, how you doing? Yeah, if you go outside and stare at the sun on the 8th of April because you want to see the eclipse, don't ever talk to me. Like if you watch the podcast, if your family, shunned, like Amish level shunned for
Still
multiple
subscribe
years.
to the YouTube, though.
Yeah, you subscribe and like the TikTok too and everything. But like never please, for the love of good God.
Hold up. Let me set the scene for you. Let me set the scene. Yeah, I got to stand up here.
Your head's cut off. You gotta look at your.
That's fine. I'm short enough. I can adjust. Let me set the scene
Just
here
crouch
for
like
you.
a Quasimodo.
Yeah,
There
let me
you go.
set the scene for you. So wait a second. So
That's
the
better.
cloud. So all of a sudden it's just dark.
God, I'm getting Weatherman Double A again. Here we go.
It's southern. It's southern. It's just darkness. It's subtle.
Southern. It's the southern darkness.
It's subtle darkness from the south. Okay, it's just coming over.
Easy, Al. Easy, Al.
It's
Mr. Sharpton,
coming-
calm down.
It's coming right there, and we'll go to your neck of the woods in a second. And then it just goes, and then all of a sudden, this is a once in a lifetime event, and we're not kidding.
Oh,
this
my
is
God.
once in a lifetime, and it's 3:13.
Your voices in the air.
It's 3:13. At your neck of the woods, it's 3:13.
My kid gets out at 2:30, by the way, so this is already bullshit. But nevertheless,
So guess
Proceed.
what? So guess what? Tell your kid not to have detention that day. So all of a sudden,
he's in kindergarten.
So
What
all
the
of a
fuck
sudden,
was that noise?
So all of a sudden, oh my goodness, a historic event. It's gonna happen. Oh, I'm blinded. Oh. It was never before seen.
Now you never see again.
Kyle, I was there.
Hey, oh yeah, now you're blind.
I was there.
Now you can't tell me how many fingers I'm holding up. Oh, I'm sorry. How many fingers am I holding up?
50. I was there.
We have 10 total.
I was at some random parking lot. But we made memories. It was all there for us there, Kyle.
This is literally the dumbest point in our society.
Son, I wish you
Like-
were there.
We talked about this at work today too. We were like, oh yeah, or we should get off for Monday. I'm like, no, the fuck. We're already getting Friday off for Good Friday. Like I don't know. I already have my 3-day weekend. I'm fine. I don't need to worry about the fucking eclipse. Stupid fucking people, dude. I swear to God.
It's once in a lifetime.
No, it's not. In
Yes.
2099, it'll be back again. We'll probably still be around. We'll be fucking walking around with canes because at that point they'll have some sort of intelligence to keep us alive for 200 years, so I could suffer even more. So there you go. Garbage.
Kyle is anti-science.
And Taylor Swift is a closet capitalist. Welcome to our conspiracy theory podcast, folks.
I don't think she's really a closet capitalist. I'm pretty sure it's pretty freaking obvious.
No, but
It's very clear.
But if she's a capitalist, she can't vote for Joe Biden because she doesn't like capitalism. She's a Democrat, right?
Well, have you ever met a movie star? They aren't exactly poor either.
Robert De Niro.
Well, maybe if they look at this,
I'm just saying
We got so far off the fucking rails on this show, dude. Like this is insane.
They're getting their bag. They don't care.
Well, I'll put it to you this way.
Point
maybe
to
if
pizza
they look,
and getting bags.
Maybe if they look at the sun the day of the eclipse, then maybe they'll change their
How
mind.
about instead of looking at the sun, you spend a time, I don't know, with your actual children? There's a positive, too. If you're going to be off, you might as well take the day off and spend time with them instead of looking at the fucking sun.
But
Like,
maybe it goes
be a
hand in
present
hand.
parent at that point. Don't be a fucking idiot. I don't.
They are present. They're present with the sun.
You know what's not going to be present? Your vision after you fucking look at the sun, you idiot. like not you. People. Jesus.
I'll tell you how it went down Progressive Field.
Oh, God. Well, we're going to pass out some special sunglasses so you can look at the sun when it comes over the eclipse. Fucking stupid, man. Literally so stupid. This is the dumbest thing. Like, this is becoming a holiday now. It makes no sense.
It's once in a lifetime.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
People are going to be around again when this happens. All right? Like, for the love of Christ.
You know what else
Holy
was once in a lifetime?
shit. Ugh.
I guess now twice in a lifetime now.
Can we get back on topic?
Hollywood Rock.
Oh, my God.
Can I tell you, when I didn't see it live. I didn't watch SmackDown live, but I watched the set. I guess that's my routine now. I watch SmackDown on Saturday mornings. And so I purposely avoid the spoilers. Like, let me get raw reaction, whatever I can avoid from social media. So Saturday morning, it's like 8 a.m. I'm sitting there. Oh, Rock opens the show. By the way, before we get to what I want to get to, his entrance itself.
We talked about it last week. It's phenomenal.
Oh, my God.
He's almost like he's building up to be a babyface again.
Amazing. And then, when that music switched up, Hollywood Rock.
Well, I know you did like an actual backflip on your couch. I know you were excited about that.
Man! I looked up at the sky like I was looking at the eclipse. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Just when I thought we were done.
I was so excited. I literally... because, first off, it was something different, and it fits, in a way, it fits with the evolution of his character. And it's just like, look, if you're gonna go this direction, go all the way. Okay, cool, great. Hollywood Rock is back. Should we thank the Cody Crybabies for setting the table for the return of Hollywood Rock?
No. Hear me out. So I have a suspicion that this was the plan the entire time.
Okay.
So they had said from the beginning that Cody was going to win the Royal Rumble again. That obviously leads to a choice between Seth and Roman, obviously. But I think the only hiccup in the story was that CM Punk was supposed to win the Chamber and obviously take on Rollins at WrestleMania.
And now Drew's in his place.
Exactly. I think that this whole story with Cody and Roman and The Rock was always planned. And I think Triple H knew Cody's like insanely popular. He's our biggest star right now. Maybe even bigger than Roman. Like, if we have him take a step aside for a second, people are going to be pissed off about that. And The Rock's popular, but people aren't going to be mad at The Rock per se. They're going to be mad at, like, why isn't Cody, because of last year building this whole story all the way back through, talking about it again, winning the Royal Rumble, doing it twice in a row. That doesn't happen often.
Purposely avoiding Roman,
Exactly.
keeping them separate for a year.
To have that big moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people were salivating for it.
Yeah.
People also wanted Rock versus Roman. We're in the same category. We still want to see that at some point. But this was taking precedent. He kind of figured there was going to be a reaction. Now, obviously, he kind of probably told the guys, okay, we're going to do this, but it's going to be your job to keep people going in those directions. We're going to start it by doing this. But then I'm relying on my most talented people to be able to take the ball and run, so to speak. So, no, I think this is always the plan. I think this is always the plan to try and get Rock to this point to where he could bring this kind of persona back, because that's when he had the most fun. And he always said if he was going to do something again with WWE in a longish term facility, he wanted to make sure it made sense and it was fun and it was engaging and he could really make it the biggest he possibly could. And people still talk about that run, like you just said, as Hollywood Rock. So
I don't think you're wrong. I'll just take a little spin at this. I still, we're not 100% sure, and I don't think we'll ever be 100% sure until somebody behind the scenes comes out and say it. what would have happened if CM Punk did not get hurt. I think you're right. I think what you laid out is correct. But without the full knowledge of knowing, we just don't know exactly. Will we have seen Hollywood Rock? I'm not sure. I do believe that the way the story has progressed to this point, Rock would have been present. Rock would have essentially kind of been that way in terms of the whole family thing and whatnot. But this is a rare case of a character playing his part and the fans saying, in order to complete the puzzle of playing the part, reach back into the persona that you played years ago. And they did. And he listened. And they actually delivered. I think the difference between like the Triple H ran WWE and Vince is that maybe The Rock would have did everything he did storyline-wise. Maybe the stuff at Memphis, where in Memphis he was a complete babyface. Let's be clear.
Well, until he started actually talking. But yeah.
Right. He was, to the crowd, he was a complete babyface.
Yeah, he didn't do the whole... He even said at the beginning, I normally rip you guys apart, but now I'm going to...
That would have... Hold up for a second. There we go. That would have never...
Because we stood up earlier.
I know. That would... I don't want to mess up this cord here. There we go. That would have never happened live radio. And we will not... Or video. What the hell is this video?
Well, I'm the sick one, but he just forgot where he was, so that's always good.
It's going well. It's going well.
I'm surprised at this point. I thought for sure I'd be dead on the table by now, but we're still ticking apparently.
No. Anyway, let me get back to my point.
Yeah.
Things would have been a little bit different in terms of storytelling and the approach to the storytelling if this whole thing didn't go down. Now that we're all... And it starts even, too, with The Rock's attire, right? Now it's the vest with the muscles all out and stuff.
If Vince were in charge, Rock would have won the Royal Rumble.
He would have won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And Rock would have been overly baby-faced with phases and stuff.
He'd be going back and forth with Roman. There would be a family turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
It's good shit, brother. Like, it would have been the whole... And then
Yeah.
Cody would have been in the middle of... That's why I always think... Looking back now, it's obviously hindsight's 20/20, but like just thinking about the decision, it always had to be Cody, because Punk wins, we know who he's picking, right? He's gonna pick Seth.
Yeah.
So how does Cody get to Roman?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do like a reverse thing where they do Elimination Chamber to see who faces Roman? I mean, you could do that technically, but it felt bigger and it put Cody in the air of like, oh, he actually could beat him, because how many people have won back-to-back Royal Rumbles, right? I mean,
and they made a big deal of the few people who have done it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And all those people led the company.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to make sense for that person to beat Roman, to be that person for the next 5 years. And Cody is that person.
How will Roman get... Oh. Let me make this quick here, 60 seconds here. How can Roman establish himself back to... the leader? You mentioned earlier in the show that Roman, it doesn't seem like Roman right now, because of The Rock's presence.
Yeah.
He's faded in the background. He's greatly faded in the background. How can Roman on Friday, when he's face to face with Cody, get back on track and assert himself as the tribal chief and the leader of the bloodline?
Bury The Rock. And not in the sense of like, make him look bad, but just like, he answers to me. I'm the tribal chief. Like, he needs to reassert his dominance as, like, he does his thing because he's The Rock, but at the end of the day, I am the final boss. You can't beat me. You get us together. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But even just me, you can't touch me. He has to establish that, and if he doesn't, he looks like, again, like I said, the fifth or sixth most important person in the story. I put Seth above him at this point. I put Drew above him at this point as far as the overall story of everyone that's attached to this. Like, there's so many more people that are doing so much better work than Roman right now. And, like, he needs to have a performance of a lifetime. If he gets physical, I know he can handle that. He's never had a problem in the ring. It's the Can you bring it promo-wise? It's always been the knock against Roman, right? His promos. Even he had a good run there for a while where he was talking a little bit more. He was having good engagement. Lately, it's been a little downhill, especially with Cody cutting these awesome promos. Rock obviously doing his thing. Drew killing it on the promos. Even Seth bringing back some fire now. Like he's got to bring something on Friday.
And Roman, let's just be real about it, because Rock's next show will be the Raw before Mania.
Monday, Brooklyn. Yeah.
Brooklyn.
April 1st, I believe.
Roman has 2 shows by himself. And I'm assuming he's going to be on the following SmackDown as well next week.
You're assuming.
Right.
Yeah.
Roman has 2 shows to really assert himself as the guy. In a weird way, this run, The Rock, everybody, all the names you mentioned has been outstanding, and The Rock has been outstanding. I think because they've given so much of the spotlight to The Rock, and The Rock himself just owns it. He's one of those guys that just owns the screen, right? Same with talk show hosts, same with everything. Like, there are certain guys, you hand them the platform, they own the screen. And you almost have to fight for not just airtime, but meaningful airtime. I don't want a situation where the goodwill of the Tribal Chief run slowly is drained away. And what I mean by that, this singular run, this part of Roman Reigns' career, we talked about the Mount Rushmores last week. This part, you can make a case for Mount Rushmore territory. The way Roman was running programming, and I would say up to last year's WrestleMania. And it's been of a downfall since a little bit.
Yeah.
But the totality of him being the champion all this time, it does mean something.
There's lulls in your professional career, and despite him being the champion, hasn't felt like the most important person on TV over the past year.
That has to change.
Hell, Jay has felt more important and has climbed up bigger. Obviously, Cody, Seth, Drew, Gunther. There's a bunch of guys that just feel like they're more important right now.
He has to prove on Friday and the Friday after, and honestly, standing next to The Rock on Raw before Mania, he has to prove why he has been entrusted to main event, the last, 8 of the last or 7 of the last 9 WrestleManias?
It's most of all time.
He has to prove that he's the guy.
It's crazy to think about because of all the stuff he's done, that Roman still has to prove something. But, like, we're in the
It's a different conversation.
We're in the upper echelon now. You're exactly right. We're not talking about, like, today's day and age. We're talking about all time. And how do you separate yourself?
It's a different conversation,
It
but
really
he's put himself in that. All right, let me end with this here. Let's end with this. So we have the 2 women's championship feuds. Right? So on one side, you have the Damage Control storyline with Io Sky and Bayley basically her fight against the entire Damage Control.
Right.
And then on the other side, you have now Rhea Ripley and Becky. I thought about this. It seems to me like the pacing of both of these women's championship feuds have been it's been interesting in the sense that on one side with Damage Control, you had a hot breakup with Damage Control turning on Bayley. And then that feud, maybe on purpose, cooled off. Extremely cooled off. And then now it's picking up again. And over on Raw, Becky and Rhea, they have a match at Mania. They are feuding. But Becky has like 3 or 4 other battles to conquer. And the biggest one she had to conquer was against Nia Jax, that last women's standing match.
Which she did.
She did.
There's still some rumblings about adding Liv to the WrestleMania match. I don't think you need to do that.
No.
But
do you like the pacing of both of these feuds or one of these feuds? Do you like the pacing starting from the Rumble where Bayley won the Rumble and then Becky, of course, we know her journey and she won at the Chamber. Do you like the pacing of these feuds?
So Damage Control was, I think, smart because it gave the bloodline their time too, to kind of lead the show, and they still have this being like a main event or a main part of the program. And I think it needed a break for Dakota to get cleared and to have the whole kind of side story initiated into all of it to make it full move forward. So I like where that's at. I think it's a little strange now what they're doing with it, just because. So Naomi's involved now, obviously, and where does that put Bianca? You know, is she going to end up helping them out, or is she going to turn, which we've been calling for a long time? But I don't know what she's going to do with that whole situation. On the Rhea-Becky side of things, I think it made a lot more sense because we feel like Rhea's established as the best right now. Like, overall, both brands, doesn't matter. And Becky's been trying to prove to herself that she belongs in that spot again. You kind of mentioned she's had a couple down years here. So having these match on Monday was great.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, it was, and I give Nia Jax a lot of credit. She's come a long way. If she had this match 3 years ago, she would hurt somebody.
Right.
But she's done an amazing job. I don't know if it's.
This is. I will admit, this is a pro Nia Jax show right now.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like she's doing really. The promos could obviously still be a little bit better, but nevertheless, that's fixable, right? It was the actual keeping people safe was my biggest concern because she was hurting people. And now that she's got that under wraps, and I don't know if it was the weight loss, just needed to get away for a little bit, whatever it was, however she did it, congrats, because you're doing a great job. But Becky needed this road, I think, a little more because she needed to get these big wins to really prop her up to be able to say, yeah, she has a chance against Rhea, because it's not 2020. You know, Becky isn't as hot as she was then. She's still huge, but she's not on that level yet.
Right.
Beating Nia this past Monday. I'm assuming probably having another big win or two before WrestleMania as well, or having some segments with Rhea where she gets to match up a little bit more. Kind of puts her up close. I told you, the power couple, Seth and Becky. Becky's probably more likely to win her match. They both are probably going to lose. But if I had to pick one, Becky would make more sense, at least in the short term, because she can do that. And then obviously that could be a thing where maybe Raw after WrestleMania, Becky holds that title for a day.
That could happen.
And then you could have Jade Cargill finally decide to pick a show.
Yeah.
Which is honestly insane. She was like contemplating which show to go on, and they haven't talked about her since. I've been okay with the booking of Jade until now. Just because it feels
she
like.
Really that green?
Yes. I think so. She had no training in AEW. She had some with like Cody and some of those guys, but it was all kind of like seat your pants. You're already in the main event.
Yeah.
Like we got to do what we can do, right? And she never really fully bought in. I think she's had would it be like how many months now at the Performance Center? Because they would
going about what Survivor Series maybe.
Yeah, so like 6, 7 months.
Coming up on 6 months probably.
They want to fully train her. I think they want to. I think Triple H kind of said this too. They want to make sure you're 100% ready. It was a dip. It was a taste at the Royal Rumble. And it's easier at the Royal Rumble, like you said before, too, to kind of hide her a little bit.
And maybe the problem is because she had to run at AEW the first month, 2, 6 months. I'll tell you what happened to me at the Fan. So the first.
Weren't you on WTAM?
So when I was at TAF for 5 years, I didn't really hear much of. Hey, you have issues, that kind of thing. Like beyond, like I was, yeah. I consider myself a good worker, but there were things, and the first, honestly, 6 months of me at the Fan, maybe longer.
Yeah, retrained.
I had to be had to be torn apart.
Yeah,
get all the bad habits out of your system that you learned that you thought were okay, and then we'll rebuild you. It's kind of what's happening here, in the sense of
a lot of bad habits,
a ton of bad habits. You almost got to strip that away, and then bring her up as a rookie again.
This is like if Goldberg got actual wrestling training.
Yeah,
that's honestly what it feels like.
Yeah,
she was that dominant. So having her kind of reset. So I get obviously taking your time, but then don't put her on TV and give her the option to choose a roster now and be like, okay, we're just gonna forget about her and not bring her up again. I know why they're doing it because
people are going to wonder if she's not involved in WrestleMania.
Yeah,
if she's not involved,
she'll be at the Raw after WrestleMania. I'm sure she'll probably sign there. I mean, and then it'll go to a whole full thing with her and Becky or her and Rhea or whatever it is. I don't know, but I mean, it's close. It's just she looks kind of not smart by not being able to pick one. I mean, Braun picked the brand. He picked SmackDown. So I mean, pick one.
And they ran with that story.
Yeah.
And they're doing I understand because, Braun was never at AEW.
Yeah.
So it's easier to...
He also trained through NXT
he
for
trained
years.
through NXT.
And years.
Do you cut... Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's almost sent a message, if you're a free agent in the future, hey, I'm in AEW, I'm trying to go to WWE. Okay, cool, we'll sign you, and then we put you in NXT. I don't know if that's a good...
Depends on the person.
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about...
John Moxley, Chris Jericho, those guys, they're going to go right to the main roster.
Yeah, if we're talking
Tony
about
Storm,
Tony Storm,
main roster.
You're not signing Tony Storm
to go to NXT
and
work on her wrestling and try to train.
You're going to do that off screen.
Yeah,
You're going to
exactly.
do that at the Performance Center. So I mean, yeah, we'll see. My thoughts real quick. I think the Damage Control story. I think on purpose, and I think we got to remember too. This is why I like a lot of the heavy hitting stuff in the past when it was on Raw and you had the benefit of 3 hours.
Right.
Where, okay, if Rock runs long, we can do some things.
Right.
But in a way, it makes sense because to me, there's not much with the Damage Control storyline.
It's pretty simple.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's this team turned on its leader. Leader wants their championship. Leader's going to tear Damage Control apart. But you almost do the Damage...
It's Judgment Day storyline. Just
right.
Yeah.
But you almost do the tearing apart. You win the championship first. And then after WrestleMania, tear everybody
They'll
apart.
dissolve. Yeah, they'll kind of do their own thing.
You could do that. Raw, I think what we need to see...
Yeah, what does Becky have to do in your mind to kind of bring herself as close to Rhea's level as she can?
Becky does have to... Becky, just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
I want to see from Rhea now.
Oh.
I need to see from Rhea now. All right, turn the hatred up a little bit.
Well, is she also going to wrestle at some point? Because she wrestled in Australia. And I think she wrestled at the... did she wrestle at Rumble? No.
I don't think so.
I think maybe it was like January, like beginning. Maybe it was day one or
Yeah.
something like that. She's only wrestled twice this year.
And she's
turning into Roman right now.
I think she is Roman right now. She usually doesn't
At
wrestle.
least she's there every week, but still, maybe she needs a tune-up match.
Turn the hatred up a little bit. I think now that Becky is fighting, Becky on television is starting to re-earn the goodwill that she has. I want to see the hatred turned up just a little bit, but
A little jealousy, maybe, like, hey, maybe she is as good as she's saying she is now. Shouldn't I got to do something different?
But you know what? Maybe if the story is Rhea wants to see Becky at 100%, there's going to be no excuses for this match. Maybe if that is the plan, okay, fine. But now, in that case, ratchet up the hatred even with promos. Like I need to see now. Tell me why you're better than Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartbreak. Tell me why.
You are better than Becky Lynch. And make it to the point where it should be obvious that she's better than Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be a conversation. Becky, yeah, fine, you did everything you could, but you're in my ring. You don't belong here.
Right.
Your time is up.
My time is now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing some dumb shit.
No, that's pretty much it. How to prove that. So
30 seconds. I'm actually going to time myself because I have a bone to pick with something. Do you want to time me or do you want me to time it? I think he's pulling up.
you already have the timer. Go ahead.
I have it pulled up. So I'm going to start now. So I have a bone to pick with one thing on the NXT card. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams needs to be on WrestleMania. It's bigger than the NXT Championship, and that's a problem because Tony D'Angelo and Ilya Dragunov deserve that stage. Tony's obviously worked his ass off. That feud is so big, it needs to be on WrestleMania. Not NXT Stand and Deliver. It needs to be on night one of WrestleMania. Why it's not, I have no idea. Triple H, get your head out of your ass, talk to Shawn, get it done. Ooh, 29 seconds.
29 seconds.
How about that?
Good stuff. All right, next week, crossover podcast.
Hopefully I'm not sick, because if I am, I plan on sneezing on all three of you.
we will be.
I'm kidding. I'm not going to Rudy Gobert. I'm sorry.
We will be in an undisclosed location in this very studio.
Like 20 feet to the left. Well, my left. You're right. Pete's left.
I believe we'll be
over there, over in that area.
There.
Yeah, somewhere over there.
Over there.
Yeah.
So we'll be there.
We will. And there'll be more people over there too.
That's right. That's right. We got to figure out seating arrangements.
4 humans.
But we'll be on
4 human males.
We'll be on Voice of the Land podcast.
Yeah.
We'll be on their show, which you could check that out on
We should wear suits. We should dress the fuck up. Like I'm talking like straight up, like prom. Like let's do it.
How
do
about
it big.
that? How about
I
that?
might come in a fucking suit next week. Y'all think I'm playing?
Are you gonna still ride your bike into the studio?
That'd be amazing. Wear my wedding suit to work or to the podcast.
You gotta go full Jimmy Fallon and just like running your suit like it's the first day of him hosting the Tonight Show.
Is it me, or does he feel like a human embodiment of like a younger version of Harry Carey? Every time he opens his mouth, I just look like hey, like he feels like he's just him. He's Harry Carey reincarnated, even though I think Harry's still alive. I don't know, but like he's
been dead since '98. That's
unfortunate. But so there you go, reincarnated Harry Carey. It's Jimmy Fallon, but like only like the caricature version of Harry Carey.
You have a new movie coming out.
Well, he's hitting the ball hard.
Oh man, not Jimmy Fallon.
Right? I mean,
oh man.
To quote one of our favorite professional wrestlers, "Tell me when I'm telling lies." You know, I mean, Jesus.
Who would have thought David Letterman and Jay Leno? We had it made back then. And the other in the older generation, Pete would say, "You didn't have Johnny Carson. You didn't have Johnny Carson." Or my cousins would say, "You didn't even have Arsenio. You didn't have anybody." But I'm like, we had Jay Leno and David Letterman. At least they told jokes.
How old do you think I am?
He had Johnny Carson.
I mean, I had Johnny Carson, but I also had Arsenio.
He had Arsenio.
I know. I'm kidding.
God damn.
You had Carson when he had gray hair.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, it was always kind of.
You didn't get New York City Johnny Carson. You got.
I don't like how the boy's sitting right now. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you're about to like introduce our next guest or something like that.
Please welcome.
Here. Oh wait, that might be copyrighted. We can't do that.
No, you probably can't. No, not that one. No.
Can't do that. Can't do that. Unless we get sponsored one day, then we could do like a watch along March Madness pod. Anywho,
one day.
Crossover podcast next week. Voice of the Land. We'll be on their show. They'll be on our show.
Gonna piss off their wives because they'll be here late as fuck. It's gonna be great.
Always positive, Jay. You're gonna find out real quick.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little negative next week. See what happens with that.
And then in 2 weeks will be our final show before WrestleMania.
We'll do predictions, right?
We'll do predictions.
We'll look at our cards.
We'll
look at the shit show that is our WrestleMania cards. And
it's an embarrassment.
Oh boy, it's
an embarrassment.
It's tough to look at.
We'll take a look at those.
Still pinned on the TikTok, by the way. Yikes!
It's there. Go check it out. It's there. So we'll do that. So we're pretty loaded leading up to WrestleMania. Quick aside, I like what Raw's doing with Sammy and Chad Gable. I actually like what they're doing there.
You will see.
But we'll see how it turns out. You know, but if Chad Gable's the coach to Sammy leading into Mania, we'll see. And then maybe Chad cost Sammy the
Sami Zayn, now a part of Alpha Academy.
How about that? All right. We're out of here. And we got to go before I break my foot on my way up to Mount Everest and my side hustle becomes the main hustle.
Tarby.
Sometimes
the guy we talked about, the guy we talked about broke his foot before he was supposed to go.
Sometimes there's a signs that's just.
Did you hear that? That's Tony Khan taking a deep breath because one of his pillars decided to break his foot instead of going and climbing on Everest and dying. So that's obviously great.
We'll set you up next year.
The sad part is he broke his foot, so he's out. He's still out for like 3 months, 4 months anyway. That's so stupid. We need to go.
The whole point of the last match.
I'm gonna go climb State Road Hill.
was on the way. It was an injury angle. An injury angle doesn't mean you actually suffer an injury, but maybe that's just a sign above.
That's that real glass.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Idiot.